talk radio question. Your predecessor was not a frequent guest. It does not look like your successor is going to be a frequent guest, but that may change. Ours is a medium you seem to embrace. You seem to enjoy it. How do you feel that it impacted your governorship, WPRO, and
I think
talk
it's been
radio?
very important, Bill. And I don't. I'm not. I'm not running for anything, so I don't need to convince you
of course not.
anything. Okay. But I think you.
I mean, you've done Ask the Governor. You've seemed to have enjoyed it.
I do. Okay, because I get a chance to talk to people. And I get a chance to talk to the host, and the host gets a chance to ask me some tough questions, all right? And I think that's what a governor should be. You should be accessible. I find it enormously helpful because I think that what you do is you provide information. And today, from my experience as I go around, people are thirsting for information, all right? And many, many more listeners to what you do day in, day out than callers. You know that, all right? And the callers, but that's the nature of human beings, all right? But you know that, and I know from my own experience before I got into this job, the number of people that listen during the day to talk radio because they get information. And they're smart enough to sort out, the silly stuff or the stuff that they don't accept at all. But they know what's going on. They know what the issues are. For me, I think it's been hugely helpful because I can get on and spend an hour with one of the hosts in PRO, and people can call in on Ask the Governor. And so I really love it and think it's very helpful, and has been helpful for me, at least, to communicate. The other thing, people can hear it from me directly.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered, okay? Because when they read something in a newspaper somewhere, that's a reporter's writing, okay? Or if they see something edited even on the TV, it's a very short segment. If you get 10, 15 seconds, it's a lot of time on a TV clip. But I can go on PRO for an hour, and people can hear me say it and ask me directly.
And you can get an earful too. And you have.
Sure, but that's okay. That's okay. That's part of the job too. It's listening and hearing what I've had people call in with things that I've gotten back here and said, "Is that going on?" And we've done something about it. And that's helpful. It's like the open door Thursdays. Remember when I came in, I said one Thursday a month, anybody can come in. And we've done that. It's sort of tapered off the last few months, but we did that. We've done that for all 8 years. And people will come in here, 20, 25, in the course of a couple hours, whatever's on their mind. And again, I learned things, actually. There are some people that are just complaining, or there's some issue they've got that is really unique to them. But in other cases, I found I really learned things that I didn't know were going on that helped me. So I think all of that is helpful in doing the job when you get the opportunity to hear from people.
What are you and Sue going to do?
Well, we're going to relax for a while, as
Nobody could argue with
that.
that.
I see you. We had a lot of grandchildren, and they're growing rapidly, and we're blessed with that. We want to spend some time with them, have time to do the things that we would like to do, so we look forward to that. I mean, I love this job. We both love this state, and we're not going anywhere, but we're ready to move on and, pass the baton, but move on and, and spend more time with our family.
Your own party chairman has used your name, raised your name as a potential anyway to challenge Sheldon Whitehouse. He says that's a winnable race. He's even suggested he might do it if you're not interested. What do you think? Are you game for another statewide race and taking on Sheldon Whitehouse?
I may be, but it's too early, really, to worry about that right now. I got to get through. We got still a list of things on there that I'm trying to get done before the inauguration, and then we want some time, as I said, because this job is all-consuming, and so you need some time to step back, kind of catch your breath, relax a little bit, and then we'll decide whether we want to go in for another race.
You could probably use that card and direct it, instead of Rhode Island, in a Washington sort of way too. My guess is a couple of those issues might be covered on Capitol Hill.
There's a lot of those issues.
So you're going to keep us breathless. You may be. So you're not ruling it out.
No, 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 I don't rule it out. As I said, I think I've learned a lot here, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of where the nation needs to go also, and I've been very active with the Governors Association on a lot of different fronts, and I have a lot of friends there. I've got a lot of friends that are considering running for the presidency in 2012, and so whether I help some of them or one of them, there's a lot of different issues right now that will sort themselves out over the next probably 6 months, Bill.
What is the January 5th? Is that the January 4th? Is what do you think? Project a little bit. What do you think it's going to feel like when you finally hand the keys over to the new governor-elect, and as you walk out of this building for the last time as the chief executive?
Well, a little bittersweet. I mean, you know, I think it'll be, you know, based upon, unfortunately, you know, a lot of the things that the governor-elect is talking about. It doesn't make me feel positive about a lot of the things that we've been doing and those continuing, and that worries me. Now, I've learned also that it's different when you're in a campaign and you talk about some things and when you're sitting in this chair, in this building, and you've got a House and Senate, and you've got to worry about a budget. And so I think that it'd be a little bittersweet. I mean, when you've worked this hard, and Sue and I, we've given our whole lives to this for the last 8 years. You know, we're out a lot. We're out at nights and weekends and at events, and et cetera, because, you know, as I said, we love the state and want to see it do well. And on the other hand, there comes a time, I think term limits are a good thing, to move on and let somebody else, you know, take it over. And, you know, and I wish them well because, you know, the state's got challenges still. But I think that we've, as I said, put in place a lot of the building blocks for the state to prosper. If we keep the taxes down, get the spending, continue to get that under control, and the pension issue is not going to go away. There needs to be more changes in the pensions, and there needs to be more, you know, more pressure in the cities and towns to figure out how we run them better and smarter and on less, and et cetera. And that's not easy. I understand that, but that's all about how we make the state affordable and a place that businesses start to see, and people are coming here saying it's a, you know, a reasonable tax environment. It's a good place to do business. It's a good place to educate your children and live and raise a family. And if we do that, then, you know, the state has a good future, and that's what I want. I got a lot of grandchildren here, as you know.
What is there any advice that you can give your successor? And knowing again that you're at the political opposite ends of the extreme, what advice could you give the next governor in a generic sort of way? That you know intimately what he's going to face that members of the public we can't understand.
Yeah, the only advice I would say is this is not a job. Campaigns lend themselves to slogans, all right, sound bites, etc. The job doesn't. There are immense complexities. We run a whole human service program, Medicaid programs, you know, people in nursing homes, and there are huge human service programs here. We run a corrections and law enforcement. The state runs a lot of things. And so, you know, my only advice really is take your time, get your arms around, understand really the complexity, the level of complexity, and then you have to have a philosophical approach. And you know, it appears that his is different than mine. You know, my philosophical approach is to keep taxes low. I do not accept it because the state isn't giving money to the cities and towns. Automatically, the mayors and that have to raise property taxes. No, the whole point is to figure out how you do that differently. And there's lots of room in the contracts, whether they be the pensions, the health care, et cetera, lots of room for more savings. So all I would say is this is a job that takes time to understand the complexity of it, and then also the relationship with the General Assembly. By the design of an executive and a legislative branch was purposeful. They're different. All right, and the legislative bodies tend to want to do things. They like to be the good guys. They don't like to say no.
Well, like
from my
anybody,
experience,
right?
And I understand because they get people coming up here saying things that they want. somebody has to be sort of what I call the adult and say, look, we can't do that. No. All right? And occasionally that means there is a tension between the legislative branch and the executive branch. That's the way it's designed. And so you can't be afraid of that. You got to understand there are times when you work together. This last year, for example, the legislature and I worked very well together. We accomplished a lot. The tax change this year where they reduced the maximum tax rate from 9.9 to 5.9 and reformed that. They passed a funding formula for schools. The charter school, numbers rose. I mean, and a whole reform of EDC. We restructured the whole board at EDC and they put in place a number of new capital tools. So we've worked very well this year because I think we both understand that this is all about what we can do to grow the economy and move the state and position the state. There are other times you're not going to agree, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I would say before you worry about everybody's got to get along, there are times when you will and times when you won't, but you've got to make the distinction there and take time before you get into the job and understand the complexity of all the different pieces at work here.
Lastly, and most importantly, Rhode Island is a great state when you are packing up your bags after a Little League game in Wickford, Rhode Island, walking to the car, and the governor drives up, no trooper, coming to see his grandkids play. You have grandchildren, I have a son in the Wickford Little League. We're going to see a lot of you in town. That's the most important question. Are we going to?
Absolutely, you're going to see me down there. Much more, Bill, than this coming year. No, we are blessed with lots of grandkids here. They're healthy, and we look forward to having time to, see them and participate in the kinds of things that they're doing, because it changes fast. You see that in your kids, and when I had a picture, it used to be up on the mantle here, when I first ran for governor, right? And our daughters gave our kids T-shirts that say "Grandpa for Governor." I don't know if you remember those. They would kill it.
I think I do. Grandpa for Governor.
They would kill it. So we walked
Let's not trade in other kids too much.
We walk in a parade and they said "Grandpa for Governor." I mean, that was our daughter's idea, not mine. But the oldest grandchild in that picture, they took it down now because they've got the Christmas decorations, at the time was 8.5. Okay, just going on 9. She was the oldest. All right, sage for your son.
Yes.
Now she's 17, a junior in high school, and driving. In that 8 years that I've been here, actually 9 if you include the campaign that Sue and I have been doing this, their lives have gone from little tots like this to, big young men and women. And so you feel like as a grandparent, you're missing a lot. And we've tried to include them in a lot of things here, because I think from a civics lesson and et cetera, they see the inside of the state. And so we try to include them in that. But you miss a lot. So the answer is yes. I'm going to see you down at the ball games a lot.
I look forward to that. Again, Rhode Island is a great state where, again, you're walking and there's the governor watching a Little League game. So I don't think that happens anywhere.
And warming up my grandson. Keep going.
Governor, thank you very much for sitting
pleasure.
down. Thank you for the relationship as well over the 8 years.
No.
And
thank you for all of your support, letting me go on, because PRO has been great, and I mean it when I say it's. I found extraordinarily helpful to me in my job. So, and you got a great team there.
We'll look forward to staying in touch. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Hear it, and see it when you want it. On demand, audio and video at 630wpro.com.